The Motorsport UK British Rallycross Championship Five Nations Trophy is held at Lydden Hill for round 8. It's Nick Priddy on pole position with Stephen Jones and Ben Hardy alongside Aoife Rafferty and Tony Lynch, who makes his debut on row 2, Duncan Cowper and Jeff Page on the third and final row of the grid. So 6 laps of action, a champion to be decided, eyes on the lights. Lights out and we're racing. Good start then from Stephen Jones, not bad from Aoife Rafferty off the second row of the grid as well. Who will get the drag down in towards the first corner? Jones gets the whole shot, then followed by Nick Priddy. Third place is Aoife Rafferty, but coming around her outside, that looks like it's Duncan Cowper, who's made an absolutely meteoric start from the third row of the grid to go up into third place. The rest of the field line astern as they come over the jump for the first time. On the brakes in towards the Devil's Elbow, and Stephen Jones leads the way as there is Duncan Cowper from the third row into third place. Close behind him you've got Aoife Rafferty, who's coming under some pressure as well. Into the North Bend we go. These Fireblade engined machines, really light and nimble, as that is Ben Hardy making a move on Aoife Rafferty. Bit of hip and shoulder behind there as well. Looks like that was Tony Lynch and Jeff Page having a bit of a toe-to-toe with one another. Into the Joker though goes Cowper from third place. Where's he going to emerge? Is he going to be ahead of Aoife Rafferty? Yes it is, and also crucially there ahead of Ben Hardy in third place as well. So nicely timed Joker there for Duncan. Runs it slightly wide though on Talladega. Ben Hardy looks up his inside. Side by side they go. Open wheel machines, of course, very easy for them to interlock. And who's going to give way as they come on towards the Joke? They're giving no quarter at all. Can they keep it on the straight and narrow? Yes, they can. And Duncan Cowper does manage to get the better, but does he go deep into the Devil's Elbow? He does. Hardy's through on his inside as they come up the top of the hill then. So Cowper versus Hardy. Who's going to be last of the late breakers at the top of the hairpin? Hardy's trying to go the long way around the outside of the North Bend. That's audacious if he can make it stick. Cowper muscles him out to the outside of the circuit, and he has to eventually relent, does Ben Hardy then. Meanwhile, at the front, Stephen Jones coming under more pressure now from Nick Priddy as they slide their way through into Talladega. Backs it into the first corner, slightly wide there for Jones. Priddy tries to take advantage of that but isn't quite able to do so as they flick it left and go over the jump once more. Of course, no jokers that have been made by these top two either, and I wonder whether Nick Priddy might try and use this to his advantage and go joker at the end of this lap if Jones does not. Jones there with a defensive line. He knows that Priddy has got more pace than him. These two have been fighting tooth and nail all season long, and Stephen Jones in the prime opportunity to take the championship as Cowper closes up onto the back of Ben Hardy at the top of the corner. There we go, Priddy into the Joker at the end of this lap. Exactly what he needed to do. He needs some clean air, some clear running to try and get that undercut from Stephen Jones. Jones can now breathe a slight sigh of relief because he's not got that immediate pressure from behind, but what he needs now is the lap of his life in order to be able to come out of that Joker in the race lead. Meanwhile, Hardy is now ahead of Cowper for third place. So this is absolutely brilliant wherever you look in RX150s. These Fireblade engine buggies are absolutely superb in terms of the action they are providing on track. Aoife Rafferty just behind Cowper in 5th position. Jeff Page and Tony Lynch have dropped off somewhat. In fact, I think Tony Lynch may have actually retired from this race. Maybe that was as a result of the contact that we saw with Page earlier on as we come up the top of the hill and into the North Bend once more. Down the bottom we go. Hardy now with a nice clear track in front of him, exactly what he wanted to do once he was able to get himself ahead of Cowper. He has not looked back since, and Cowper does not seem to have an answer for Hardy's pace at the moment, so Hardy will be set as it stands to take the final spot onto the podium. You can see how much more speed though Cowper's taking into Talladega. Hardy being quite conservative into there if anything, and that is costing him just a fraction of time on the entry, but he makes it up with a greater exit out of the corner. Over the jump they go, unfortunate enough to have driven one of these RX150 buggies at Lydden Hill earlier this year, and over the jump these are absolutely spectacular machines. Now Jones is going to go joker at the end of this lap then, so where is he going to emerge in relation to Nick Priddy? I think he's pulled out enough of an advantage, you know, it's not even going to be close. Yeah, Jones has pulled out a real comfortable cushion as he begins the final lap, and Priddy is going to have to settle for second best unless Jones makes a mistake on the final lap. As it stands, Jones would be crowned as the RX150 champion of 2023. Cowper, meanwhile, still sits with Ben Hardy in front of him, but no way through for him to make that move as it stands. And this is exactly what Jones is brilliant at doing in these RX150 machines. Once he's got a clear track in front of him, he just drives like nobody else is out on track at all, and he's able to pull out a comfortable advantage to not be under any pressure from behind. And at this occasion, Nick Priddy has not had an answer for Jones's pace. Down into Paddock Bend we go for the final time in 2023. It is going to be Stephen Jones who takes the victory in the RX150 Round 8 final and becomes the 2023 champion, ahead of Nick Priddy in second place. Ben Hardy is surely going to hold on in the pink number 169 for third position, ahead of Duncan Cowper. Through into the final bend they go. Hardy takes third place ahead of Cowper, and then Aoife Rafferty finishing in fifth position, and Jeff Page will come home in sixth place at the checkered flag, with Tony Lynch out of the 7 drivers the only one, sadly, who failed to make the finish. Here is Jeff Page just making his way down the bottom of the circuit. Good debut for him to get some mileage in the RX150 buggies as he makes his way through Paddock Bend and across the timing line to complete the RX150's 2023 campaign. But what a race, what a drive from Stephen Jones. He takes the victory and becomes the 2023 RX150 champion.